No, 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 no. Wait, 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 wait. Hey. Wait, 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 wait. Wait. Just wait. Just wait.
Hello everybody, SantoSushi here with another Guild Wars 2 PvP video. Uploading a little bit different of a video today. I'm going to be going over my top 5 favorite builds to run in PvP recently. Quick disclaimer, this is in no way a top 5 best builds in competitive PvP video, or is it a top 5 meta builds PvP video. This is my personal favorite, what I think I perform best with, and what I have the most fun with. So, if one of you takes these builds into ranked and then comes back crying like, Santo, I can't climb to plat with this build, it sucks, blah blah blah, this is not a good build for ranked, then you didn't listen to the intro, dummy. But if you do have luck with it, I encourage you to leave a comment and saying how much you loved it, or if you guys have any little like fine-tuning tips for these builds in any way, shape, or form that could maybe push these a little closer to the competitive side, those are welcome as well. I'd love to hear it. I'm always trying to make new builds and, you know, see if I can discover a hidden meta. And if you like the video, please, I encourage you to subscribe. I'm trying to get to that 500 sub milestone on YouTube and hit those 3,000 watch hours so I can have whatever that is, the YouTube member thing. So enjoy the video. All right, so the first build I've been running in PvP and having a lot of fun with is Condi Spectre. I'm very new to Spectre, but I know kind of creeping its way into, you know, like semi-meta, because we saw a lot of it in the monthly AT and it was doing good, so I've been practicing it a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. Spectre's a little harder than I gave it credit for, though. You think you're a lot tankier than you really are, because you have like a false necro shroud. But if you play it right, you do a ton of torment and poison damage, and you have a lot of mobility and stuff, and you're able to, you know, passively give your team barrier and such, and you still have a pretty good amount of survivability, even though you're not like a full Reaper or something. I think the animation on the Scepter Pistol 3 is a really cool animation, and I think Spectre all around is just a cool spec to play. You know, in concept and in execution, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where I can go with Spectre and how much further it gets on like the competitive scene, I guess. Next up is the regular old hammer scrapper. I always say I really wish when I first downloaded this game I'd started out as an engineer. I think engineer is such a cool concept of a class. I think the toolkits and weapon kits are such a cool thing too. And I think jumping into engineer after playing mostly thief for the last, what, 12 years, 13 years since launch, I think jumping into that and learning it is a little difficult. I think it's one of the more difficult classes to kind of learn the mechanics around and stuff. But I'm having a ton of fun with, you know, regular old hammer scrapper with all the gyros and stuff. You're able to deal a ton of damage in a pretty short time. I'll admit it can be a little, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but it's definitely not three-dimensional. So maybe two-dimensional. The burst you can put out is insane. You don't have a ton of defense. Like, you got your stealth gyro, you got your healing gyro and stuff, and you got your one stun break and your hammer block and stuff. But the combo field chaining on this is so cool to see. And it's really fun to just stick to people when they're trying to get away, since you have unlimited super speed. And yeah, having a lot of fun with it. And so let's go to the next build now. Support Tempest. It's been in the meta for a while, and for good reason, because it's insane. I haven't touched support a lot. I think I put one video out as support as like my third video, and it's when I didn't know what I was doing on Firebrand, and it got no views. But we really only have one good support in our guild. He plays support Tempest, and so I said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna start learning it, and man, I'm glad I did. Support Tempest is insanely bunkery and can deal, you know, just a ton of heals. I think it's a little underrated in terms of the damage it does. You're not going to be one-shotting people or, you know, killing anyone, but that air overload does so much damage. Like, you don't realize how much damage you're contributing to the fight unless you're studying everyone's health bars. But I run the Aura Share spec. I don't run the Vigor one because Vigor one's a little harder to run. And I think the Aura Share one is a little better for team fights in general. That's my opinion though, because the shared shocking aura and everything is awesome. And I've been having a lot of luck with support Tempest. It wasn't as hard to pick up as I thought. And it's nice having another person that's really trying to get good at support Tempest in our guild. So next up, we've got support Spellbreaker. We saw a couple of these in the monthly AT in, was it EU NNA or just EU? Either way, we saw it and I said, hey, I want to try that out. And man, is it fun. It's a more in-your-face, combat-driven support, I think, more so than Tempest. It can definitely hold its own in a duel, in a 1v1, or I've even 2v1'd with it sometimes just as support. And the amount of heals you put out it's not like as blatant as when you're healing with Tempest or Chrono, but it's just like passive heals from your shouts, from your banners, from your staff autos and your other staff abilities. You have access to a bunch, and you're pretty tanky. You're almost unkillable with it unless you really just get CC chained and stuff. But even then, you've got your stab banner and everything. And then the dagger Warhorn combo is able to do pretty good amount of damage itself as well. And then that stun break and Condi, or not stun break, sorry, immobilize clear and your Condi clear is pretty nuts too. And then you heal whenever you full counter as well, which is really good. It's cool to see support Spellbreaker getting so far in like the monthly and stuff, and I'm practicing it a lot more. I think so far it's my favorite of the support builds I've tried. Tempest is very close second to it, but I think Spellbreaker is more my speed when it comes to supporting and healing. I feel a lot more useful in the team fights doing it, and it's a little higher paced, if I dare say so. So I'm excited to see where support Spellbreaker goes and if it sticks around. Last but not least, by any means, this is number one. You could say this was a countdown. My Condi Vert thing. I spent a lot of time trying to make this work. I know there's different iterations of it. I've fine-tuned the build to what I really want to see in a Condi Vert, and I don't care what any of the haters say. Even in my guild, I love this build. I think it's so good. I think Confusion is one of those Condis that kind of gets forgotten about almost. Maybe not like super high up, top 50 or something, but I think just like for general play and stuff, and even some ranked, people just forget about Condi stacks and what they can do. And this build can throw like 20 to 25 Condi stacks on someone in an instant, and next thing you know, they've casted themselves to death. And I love seeing it. You got a ton of defense. It's mostly used as a side noter, really. It can be useful in a team fight, but it's way better as a side noter. I've definitely had my fair share of outnumbered fights on a side note and come out on top. Because your scepter and shield, you got a ton of Condi, a ton of blocks. You're running a Relic of Defender too, so that's access to a lot of passive healing from your shield and your scepter too. And then running Infinite Forge, or no, not Infinite Forge, sorry, Psychic Repost, so you're generating a lot of blades as you're blocking and dodging and stuff. And then the Axe Pistol. I've tried Axe Torch. I really it doesn't feel as good as Axe Pistol, even though they kind of do the same amount of Condis. I like Pistol for that stun setup, and then the Pistol 4 just hits like a truck, even not on a Condi build. And the Axe is kind of forgotten about sometimes on Mesmers, but that thing can apply a lot of Condis, and it's really good at stocking blades, especially since you're not running Infinite Forge. If you find yourself suffering, that's 2 blades in like a second that you can stack with the Axe 2, since it has 2 charges. And then the Axe 3 confusion damage is overlooked a lot. This is my favorite build to play in general. I have a ton of fun whenever I play this one, and you know, you do a lot of damage and you survive a lot and stuff. So yeah, I think I've made a video on this build because I love it so much, and I really hope I can see more Condi Verts in, you know, the competitive scene as we go. Maybe it'll get a buff or something, but I don't know, it's just my favorite, and I think I'm a little biased because I fine-tuned it myself. I don't think I created this build, but I think I tailored it to my own liking in a way. I tried experimenting with like staff instead of axe pistol, and maybe I might try that again too. I still fine-tune it whenever I play. I might try the staff again because I know staff does a lot of Condi and it's a lot more defense. So yeah, that's the build. All right, and there you go. There's my top 5, you know, most fun or favorite builds to run right now in PvP. I hope you guys enjoyed. I didn't go crazy in depth on like how to play them, or you know, the thoughts behind the stats, or the or like the equipment and the perks, because I've either released a video on it or I'm planning to release a video on them at some point in the future. So look out for those. If you do want, you know, more specifics on it, feel free to leave a comment or hit me up on Discord, in the Warpigs Discord, and I will answer. But so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.